there, and welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we're getting into something that is just so deeply relatable and honestly incredibly exhausting for a lot of us. Just think about it for a second. How many conversations have you had where you've spent, 20, 30, maybe even 40 minutes just desperately trying to get someone to understand why you felt a certain way or why you made a certain choice? You carefully explain it from one angle, they don't get it, so you try another. You rephrase your words, hoping that this time, like the magic combination of syllables, is going to finally make them see your truth. But it doesn't. And instead of feeling connected, you just walk away feeling completely invisible, totally dismissed, and honestly just alone inside your own experience. Let's just hit pause for a second here for raw, honest pattern interrupt. How much of your vital daily energy is wasted trying to convince people your feelings are valid? Seriously, ask yourself right now. How many times have you over-explained a completely simple boundary just so the other person wouldn't get mad at you? Look, if you're finding yourself totally drained by the burden of constantly defending your reality, well, you're not alone. And understanding the invisible psychological dynamics at play here is a real game changer. So let's dive right into this. If you live your life constantly trying to translate your soul for people who simply do not speak your language, society is going to sell you a myth. They'll tell you that you just need to communicate better, right? It's pitched as a skill issue. But the legendary psychologist Carl Jung identified this agonizing need to be perfectly understood as a subtle, highly destructive force that actually keeps us stuck at a lower level of consciousness. Jung's truth reveals that this isn't a communication issue at all. No, it is a psychological trap. Section 1. Outsourcing your reality. Now, what's really fascinating here is Jung's concept of internal authority. Basically, this is your ability to feel completely valid in your own inner experience without needing anybody else to comprehend or confirm it for you. Jung observed that if you constantly need other people to get you just so you can feel valid, it actually means you haven't quite developed this crucial psychological trait yet. And man, that leads us to a massive paradigm shift. When you do that, you are literally outsourcing your sense of reality to other people's ability to comprehend it. Think about that. It means your inner experience only feels legitimate when someone else confirms it. Waiting for someone else to validate your inner experience before it feels real to you, that means you are building your entire human life on a profoundly unstable foundation. This really gets right to the heart of the absurdity of it all. Just think about your inner world for a second. You have a highly calibrated nervous system, a very specific personal history, and an incredibly unique life experiences. Now look at their comprehension. They have never lived in your body. They have absolutely zero access to your inner world. So they literally cannot fully understand you. Expecting people, even the people who genuinely love you the most, to fully grasp an inner world they simply do not have the access codes to, when you break it down, it's actually completely absurd. I really want you to let this powerful metaphor from the source material sink in. You are begging blind people to tell you that the sun is shining. It's so true, isn't it? If you were waiting for them to fully comprehend you before you allow yourself to feel grounded in your own truth, well, you're going to be waiting forever. Performing, justifying, and over-explaining your reality, it's just a completely fruitless endeavor when the other person fundamentally cannot see what you see. So the crucial point here is this. Stop giving them the pen. It's wildly ironic when you think about it. We will spend billions of dollars on therapy, trying to figure out why we feel so empty, all while handing the deed to our own sanity over to people who haven't even figured out their own minds yet. Expecting someone else to validate your unique psychological reality is like asking a random stranger on the street to grade your final exam in quantum physics. They don't even have the grading rubric. Seriously, stop giving them the pen. Section 2. Internal authority and the cost of freedom. So, what does operating with internal authority actually look like in everyday life? Well, Jung found that people functioning at this elevated level still share their experiences, sure, but only when it feels right, and only when they ensure the other person actually has the capacity to receive it. But here is the real anchor. They absolutely do not need the other person to get it, to feel solid in themselves. They just know what they know, and they feel what they feel, regardless of whether anyone around them can follow along. And to be clear, this isn't arrogance. It's not about isolating yourself. It's just genuine, deeply grounded self-trust. But I have to be upfront with you here. Releasing this attachment does come with a cost. Carl Jung was actually very explicit in warning us that when you finally step into this freedom, when you actually stop explaining yourself and stop desperately chasing understanding, some relationships in your life are naturally going to dissolve. And here is the backlash you might face for this new quiet confidence. Look, people get completely used to you performing, justifying, and over-explaining your existence to them. Because of that, your new self-trust is going to confuse them. They might even accuse you of being cold, or difficult, or closed off. They are so accustomed to you earning your right to exist in every single conversation that setting this new boundary is going to entirely disrupt their expectations. But please, let me deeply reassure you on this. Do not let those accusations pull you back into the trap. The truth is, by holding that line, you are creating space for a connection where you don't have to earn your right to exist. This boundary isn't about you being cold. It actually clears the room for a completely different, infinitely healthier kind of connection in your life. So I want to pose this question to you as kind of the ultimate test of your psychological maturity. Are you still desperately over-explaining yourself, or have you found the quiet power of simply letting people misunderstand you? You're going to know you've successfully released this trap when someone fundamentally misunderstands you, and yet maybe you feel a little sad about it, which is completely natural, but you absolutely do not feel destabilized by it. Which brings us to our final, huge takeaway for this explainer. Let them misunderstand you. When you can be completely unseen in an interaction and still walk away without that frantic urge to go back and try explaining yourself all over again, when your inner world feels completely real and valid regardless of whether anyone else can access it, you have achieved true internal authority. Stop outsourcing your soul. Stop exhausting your vital energy trying to translate your incredible depth for people who are committed to staying on the surface. It is time to build your own psychological container, embrace the untouchable power of self-trust, and really step into the fierce, unshakable freedom of knowing exactly who you are. So the next time you catch yourself desperately over-explaining your feelings, just pause and ask yourself, who am I really trying to convince right now, them or me?